Hi, welcome to Punchlne Talks. My name is Mark Owen. Today, I'm joined by Jon McGinty, the Chief Executive of Gloucester City Council. They've just completed the Gloucester City Plan. Jon, can you tell us all about it, please?
Hi, Mark. Yes, so every council in the country has to produce a strategic local plan, and these are the plans that determine all the policies around new housing, business development, protection of environment, and that will determine every single sort of planning application effectively for the next few years. We haven't had a strategic local plan produced for Gloucester City since 1983. So this has been a long time coming. It runs to 2031, and this will determine effectively planning policy for the next 10 years or so.
Why has it taken so long? I mean, it must have cost an absolute fortune to put together.
There's a huge amount of sort of stages and hoops you have to go through. There's at least sort of 3 or 4 sort of public consultation stages that have to be very comprehensive, and then it's tested. It's called something an examination in public. It's tested almost in a sort of quasi-judicial capacity by an inspector, the planning inspectorate, where the developers will come along and challenge bits of it, and you have to defend bits of it, and it gets evolved. And so we've been working on this one for over 10 years. It has been a considerable piece of work.
And what's different to this one over other ones? Is there a particular?
Well, we've got there's some really interesting policies in there. I mean, first of all, it sort of it sets out, some of the strategic framework about when new development should be in Gloucester City, so it highlights the regeneration of brownfield sites like the land behind St Oswald's retail park for new housing. It's got loads of stuff in there about sustainability. So it has policies around something called biodiversity net gain. So all new developments should not just mitigate damage to the environment, but they actually have to improve the biodiversity from now on. And there's other proposals there about making sure that 25% of all new homes are accessible for those with disabilities, things like that, stuff around certain rules you should follow if you're building housing around schools and hospitals. So it's comprehensive. I mean, just to give you an example, one of the things that we're particularly proud of is we've got we think the only policy in the country around suicide prevention from tall buildings. We do, regrettably, in Gloucester, have still a number of people take their own lives through suicide, and so we've got a policy that any building over 12 meters high now has to actively design in suicide prevention, and we think that's the first in the country.
And it's ironic, really, because that's terribly sad, but we don't actually have that many tall buildings. It's not like Birmingham or Bristol.
No, true, but this will again set the framework for any if there are any new tall buildings coming along for the next 10 years or so. They will have to be designed with all of these features in mind.
So that obviously includes the forum. It brings me very nicely to that, actually, £107 million of taxpayers' money there. How's it progressing?
Well, it's coming out of the ground. You can see it now if you go along Metz Way. The sort of core concrete of each of the 2 main sort of buildings is really coming out of the ground quite quickly now. So we're pretty happy with the progress. There's an awful lot of people, as you've highlighted, on site in some of your earlier videos. You can really see just how many people here have got working on this project. So yeah, no, we're pretty happy with it. It's we're still sort of working on the tenancy and how we make sure that it's populated and used to its best effect when it is open.
Now, the City Council have invested an awful lot of money, isn't it? You've got obviously the Forum, £107 million there, and the King Square. You've got King's Walk Shopping Centre. Can't remember how much that was. Eastgate Shopping Centre, which I think the City Council bought for like 30 odd million or something like that, wasn't it? Then you've got
Oswald's.
Say Oswald's.
Yeah, we own some Oswald's
land behind Tesco. How many houses is that going to be?
So the land behind Tesco should be big enough for about 200 or 300 houses, we think. We're working with Rooftop Housing Association to bring that site forward. But obviously we haven't seen the planning application yet, so we don't know precisely. But it's of that sort of order of magnitude. It's one of our largest brownfield sites, and it will bring much needed, not just housing, but affordable housing to the city.
Now, you've got obviously that. I was quite surprised actually when you bought St Oswald's Business Park, because it was quite successful. And you kind of buying up all the land that's going, really. What about the car park? the multi-story car park not far from Longhoe Street.
Which one? You mean Longsmith Street car park?
Longsmith, yeah, sorry, yes.
Well, I mean, that's right behind the Fleece, which is another one of our development sites that you've been shown around earlier this week, and you've got some great videos on. At the moment, Longsmith Street is a very popular car park. I use it most days, and it's busy right up to the top floor. It's a very popular car park, but clearly we're keeping an eye on trends in terms of changing work patterns, changing, use of, trying to decarbonize transport around the city. And so, when we're talking to people about bringing forward the Fleece development, we are saying, look, if you need that car park area, we can talk. It doesn't have to stay that car park forever and a day. If you need that car park space to make the Fleece development work and to connect, the city centres of the docks and all that sort of connectivity piece that we're trying to do, the car park can be part of that conversation. I mean, clearly, the city council, generates a fair amount of sort of car parking income from that. So we need to look from a council perspective about how we deal with that loss of income if it was no longer a car park, but nothing's impossible.
Okay, and the other thing I've got to ask you, just slipped my mind. No, I think it's gone, John. It's gone. It's one of those things. It will come. The moment we stop this. The moment we stop this video, it's going to pop into my head. I can just feel it.
This happens to men of our generation, Mark.
Anyway, I think we'll have to call it a day there. Well, and it will come to me. No, it's not gone. Anyway, Jon McGinty, thank you very much for joining Punchline Talks today. Really appreciate all that for giving us the lowdown.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, John. Bye.
Bye.